Hey, hey everyone, it is Miss Flo, and you are watching Go With the Flow on my Twitch channel, Noir Vibes DC. I am so excited for you guys to join me on this live. If you missed it, don't worry because I will post an episode not only on my YouTube channel of the same name, but on my audio podcast. So if you can't watch me, you can at least listen while you're taking care of your business. And again, I appreciate for all my fans, all my viewers, listeners. I appreciate you guys so much, and you're the reason why that I keep it pushing. Um, Today's episode is a little bit more serious. We had a nice palate cleanser last episode, um, but we're going to dive into some really serious topics, uh, this time around. Today we return with Marcel. Say hi to the audience, Marcel.
Hey everyone.
How's your week been?
My week's been pretty slow. Just trying to navigate through the whole process of getting ready for graduation and, you know, just getting some other art things done.
Yes, Marcel's graduation is in May. It's May, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I just make sure. And we are very excited. It's been a long time coming, but you made it to the finish line, and that's the important part.
That's
So,
right.
we're just gonna go ahead and dive into the topic because there's like so much to talk about. But of course, I always like to start off with some good news. Well, okay. So the the first topic isn't so much. It's kind of in the middle. I would say that. Our beloved artist Beyonce has been receiving some backlash for performing in Dubai. This was an invite only event where she got paid $24 million to play for an hour. I But she's receiving backlash because Dubai made it illegal to be gay. Like you can't exhibit any form of homosexuality in that country, and a lot of her LGBTQ fans were upset about this. Uh, Marcel, real quick, what is your take on this backlash?
Um, I feel like sometimes they put Beyonce in a place where they want to villainize her so badly that they feel like she always has to be held accountable for the morals of places where she tours and what she does because we all have like this Beyonce perfectionist idea that she has to be flawed in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's anything but against the queer community. You know, um, she just made a album dedicated to her queer fans, and I feel like this Dubai thing was just something that um she just had to do. She didn't perform any new music there. It was just like something. I feel like it was just something that she was booked for and she had to do it. Uh, who knows what was going on in between the lines? Of course, like uh, we all can't be aware of what's going on there, and we can't hold Beyonce accountable for that. She's a performer. Now Beyonce also isn't known to speak up on certain things, so we just have to see what's going to happen. But in my personal opinion, I feel like she wasn't doing it to be um, malicious or any malicious intent whatsoever. You know, like she's very stern about her job and how she's seen. You know, so obviously she wouldn't just do an album and then go against the people she dedicated the album to. It seems kind of like absurd for her.
Right, right. And I think the people, well, the LGBT community in Dubai pretty much agrees with you. They said, like, this is no big deal. Other artists have performed in Dubai who are queer or consider themselves allies, ranging from Lady Gaga, Elton John, Adam Lambert, even Boy George. It that's a pretty gay lineup right there. And they managed to still perform in Dubai. It hasn't been an issue. Nothing's been raised. So, um, do you think this is more so, again, are we experiencing selective outrage? Do you feel like Beyonce is just getting this pushback solely because she is a black artist? Or, like, what do you think is going on here?
Oh, I definitely think this is a very pick and choosy argument. I also feel like it's because Beyonce has a very strong fan base, and I feel like with people seeing the clip over and over again, it just causes them to have something they want to say about it. You know, because positive attention, negative attention is still attention, right?
Hmm.
And Beyonce always has some type of context around her whenever she, goes viral. But I seriously don't feel like she had any malicious intent whatsoever, you know. And it's just something that'll pass.
Yeah, I think what we could just examine this is like, well, a couple things. One, a lot of good came from this performance and exposure because one, it does put the microscope under Dubai for basically outlawing homosexuality, and hopefully with this level of attention it may change. Um Also, Beyonce gave like 23 million to her daughter Blue. Like that's a beyond generous allowance. But again, it's like she's passing down that generational wealth uh
Right.
to her daughter, which is so huge. And I think for Beyonce to be in that space and like conducting business in that country may allow her to provide avenues for queer people there that may have
Right.
been, impossible before. But I was surprised to see like the queer people over in Dubai were just like, y'all need to chill out. It's not that big of a deal, we're fine with it. And hopefully the queer fans over there, well, I don't know, well, hopefully uh they were able to attend the event. And who knows, she may be able to or might perform over there again um for those fans so that it could be seen and have a space to be free. But yeah, that's just a quick update on that, but some more positive uh feedback that I think the queer fans were gonna definitely love and ate up this week is our girl Doja Cat, and now what is considered the iconic red look at a Paris fashion show. Did you get to see this? Did you see the her I wouldn't even call it an outfit, it's a whole
Her look.
presentation.
Yeah, she served the look. I feel like Doja's always been on top of how she wants to include her personality within excuse me, fashion, and she's been known to serve several looks on the timeline. As far as like Twitter goes, and she's known for being a person who can, uh, imitate a couple styles like Y2K and like classic like rock styles and stuff like that. And she's also into like anime and video games, and she's just kind of like a nerd sometimes. And she brings a lot of her ideas to life, and she lets other stylists who have a similar vision to her bring her to life. And I feel like she just this in particular, a lot of people didn't like it, but it was just a gag. It's like I feel like a lot of her ideas are just like unearthly. What's the word?
She's very into
Uh,
sci-fi, alien. I've seen that in
Yeah.
her videos, and I thought this was just stunning to look at. I think it's very jarring for people at first, but would you really examine the details of her whole look, it's truly remarkable. Like, it's 30,000 crystals on her body. 30,000?
Yeah. I mean,
30,000.
sometimes you gotta go in for a look. Like the girls don't know. Like if you pay attention to detail and you have a you don't want to be one of the people who has a great idea and terrible execution, right?
Mhm.
Because if she looked a mess, we all would have seen her look a mess. But she looked gorgeous. She looked stunning. You know.
Yes, I think this was just very avant-garde, and I think that she may have like completely like she stole the show for that fashion show. Whatever the name was it, I looked at it and I felt so bad because like Kylie Jenner was sitting next to her and just with like a lion's head in a black dress. And I'm like,
I wasn't too fond of that one.
yeah, I would, and PETA was okay with it, I think. Maybe because it was like fake. It was fake, right? I don't
Yeah, but
know.
apparently they said it was supposed to like be this homage to like people who do was it taxidermy or something or like hunting and
Mhm.
I'm just like I don't get it. Like she's literally wearing the head. What's how is that any different from somebody putting it on their wall?
I don't know.
And the models is wearing the exact same dress.
That's embarrassing. Like I guess it's like Mufasa and Simba together. I don't know.
Because there was
But
multiple versions of the dress. There was another version with a like a tiger head on it or something.
I know was it Naomi Campbell? She had
Hmm.
it was all black, but I couldn't tell. I can't remember what animal it was. But I felt like that was like a bit better. But Doja definitely stole the show. This took 5 hours to do. That's dedication to a look, and I applaud her for it. And it just showed like her artistry, just not just in music, but in fashion as well. And kudos to you, dear. All right. And other great news for Black women. Angela Bassett, who has just been sweeping up this award season, has been nominated for an Oscar for her role in Wakanda Forever. She is the first Marvel actor to be nominated for an Oscar. The doors that she is opening for not just women of color, but for entire genre of film. Like, oh my God, this is just remarkable. Like, I'm just so ecstatic. Like I may actually watch the Oscars this year just to see if she wins.
Right.
And I wish her the best of luck. I know there's a number of, amazing actresses in that category. Um, but I think the overall consensus is that Angela may win. So, I mean,
Mm.
so just fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right. Now, this next topic isn't as fun and thrilling. In fact, it kind of goes downhill from here. So, the College Board, like if you were in high school and you took AP courses, you're very familiar with College Board. They have spent a decade putting together a curriculum for AP African American Studies, just so it could be shut down by Florida's Board of Education. Am I saying that right?
Mm.
I, This is just disgusting. I'm sorry. Like Florida's already in under the hot seat for restricting teachers from even just talking about LGBTQ issues, sexuality, gender identity. I'm like, where's the line at this point? Because I mean, yes, we already have African American studies. It's available when you're in college, but you have to basically be in debt to learn about the contributions African Americans made in America. Like, it's just ridiculous to me how segregated like American history and Black history just divided. And it's like, for what? It's all on the same timeline. This isn't the multiverse. We're not in Loki. There's no different timelines. Like everything like this happened on the same timeline. And it's just absolutely disgusting how they are manipulating our history, our narrative, and just labeling it as like the liberals attempt to corrupt children. I'm just, I would, if I was still in high school, I would have loved to take AP African American history. Like, can you imagine like how engaged my students would be if this was available? Like, this is, I mean, what is your feelings on this, Marcel?
Um, I'm not sure. Um,
I mean, it kind of have you just lost for words.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out like something like similar we had going on when we were in school, but I haven't been in school in like 6 years, so or high school, you know.
I think
So
I think like we always had this issue like our Black History Month is on the shortest month. It's even shorter
right,
now because we have a winter break at the end of
definitely
February. I still don't understand why. Like I just
something very new. I had to express that to some of my siblings too, but like how we didn't have winter break, not winter break, we didn't have fall break, like coming up when we were younger. We went to school until we had winter break or spring break. Like this whole idea of like a fall break is just questionable.
it is questionable. It's like it's you know what I mean? It almost seems intentional to just have us out and not give us enough opportunity to really dive into our history. And we were just like having a conversation like today, like how the same historical figures get all this attention, like MLK, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, when there is a plethora, a long list of amazing men and women of color that have made so many contributions to science, uh, art and culture, um, just like it's just they just contribute like so much and like it's part of American history, but there are so many obstacles that are being put in place to prevent anybody from learning any of it. And it's truly heart-wrenching. Like I'm pretty sure down the line that this is going to go to the Supreme Court because it's definitely violating our First Amendment rights of freedom of speech. Like, you cannot tell me as an educator, and thank God I don't live in Florida, because for my fellow teachers in other states, that are severely underpaid and overworked, but still choose to come into work every day to try to make a difference because they just love doing what they do and just educating our youth. This act of, I'm gonna call it treasonous. And the reason why I'm calling it like it's treason because for Florida's Board of Education or whomever to blatantly block and prevent our young people from knowing the truth about this country, like it's treasonous. It feels like an act of terrorism to me. This feels like more so a dictatorship in my eyes, and it needs to change. It really does. Like this is just it's treasonous because like I said before, it goes against our First Amendment rights. Like it's very heartbreaking. It's sad, and I hope that all the teachers of Florida unite and fight against this. Like just look what was this guy? Manny Diaz Jr., who is the education commissioner. He called the curriculum AP African American Studies a woke indoctrination masquerading as education. What? You're upset that we are digging up lost history and having our young people know the truth. Like I always kind of like made fun of conspiracy theorists a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
the government's covering it up. They're hiding the truth, da 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 da. They may be onto something at this point. Because now it's like it's not even there's no discretion, it's just so blatant that they're covering up American history. And it's just heartbreaking, because like
Mm-hmm.
our goal as educators is like to always provide the right information. Like if you don't learn your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And it just sucks. My heart goes out to the teachers that are out there in Florida. If I would love to see them really stand up against this, and like anybody that wishes to really take a part of this AP curriculum, they should truly speak up and speak up now. And as I stated earlier, the news just it keeps going downhill and downhill. But with this last trending story, there's a spark of hope for justice. So it's just recently announced this evening that the five Memphis, Tennessee officers have been fired and arrested for the murder of Tyree. If you're not aware of this story, Tyree Nicholas was pulled over January 7th. Officers claim that he was driving recklessly, although they have released the cam footage from the, it's not even just murder. It's even beyond police brutality. Like this is just disgusting. I'm not going to. show the video because I think we just need an overall break from secondary trauma. But it's online if you want to go see it. I'm not posting it. Um, but and this is just heartbreaking to see. If you're watching the stream, like you can see like the officers like are all black men. Justice Smith, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, and did that say Tadarius Bain? That his name sounded like a Key and Peele skit. Um, like these are all black men that killed another black man. Some people are comparing it to Rodney King. Like this is just this hurts my soul to see because one of the things I know a lot of people were advocating for during Black Lives Matter was to have better representation in the police department in hopes to prevent incidents like this. And now it just goes back to what other people have been saying, like it's the system itself. Like you would like just think how far we have come from. I'm trying to think. Was it Freddie Gray in Baltimore? It's been like so many, it's hard to keep track. But just from the time before we had police cameras, we thought like as soon as we got those, that would prevent this situation from happening. We got those, and then really it just created transparency, and it prevents them from like covering it up, but it's not stopping it. And that's what we really want. We want it to like to be a deterrent. It's not doing that, right? Um, and then you think well, what happened with George Floyd, that there would be more systematic change. Nope. Another innocent black man gone. Again, this is breaking news, so as more details come out, I will be following the story in terms because like I can't think of a rhyme or reason why they would do this. Like I mean, Marcel, like in our lifetime, we have experienced so much of police brutality. It just makes absolute like, how are you feeling at this point?
I think it's definitely something that it's going to take us a long time to get the concept over in everyone's heads. People always feel like the victim is going to be at fault, especially because we're supposed to trust and um, feel like we're safe around officers, let alone officers that are the same color as us, right? But this
Mm,
has literally been something that has been happening for years and years and years, but has specifically been in the public eye since I was in middle school, right? Because I remember even like me, you, Sky, and Kaufman talking about it before. Um, and I was still around the I don't know who it was. I think that was the Trayvon Martin situation,
yeah, it was. I mean, he wasn't killed
and it
by a
was just
police
like,
officer. It was like some wannabe cop. Um,
yeah.
but
I think it's like the fact that even on social media, me and my mother has spoken about this about like how people just don't value life anymore, specifically uh, Black lives and um, Black and POC women's lives.
right. And
Including queer and whatnot. Like it's just like the value of a life is just so it's not precious anymore. People just do what they want and don't think about things in the heat of the moment. And these are people who we watch on video literally beg for their lives, like we're watching a movie. And it's just like life isn't taken into consideration anymore or valued anymore. It's very upsetting, especially people who, um, everybody's not perfect. Everybody's not going to make uh, proper decisions, but this can happen to anybody. It's all really sometimes being about at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know,
Right.
um,
And then I could just hear conservatives just weaponizing this because like
mhm.
everybody is the same color and it is saying like, well, see, like they don't even value their own lives. And that, you know what I mean? So it's just
And let's not even talk about the people who are just mad with power. Like people think that sometimes, like because other officers are, um, black or maybe POC or just anything in between. At the end of the day, they made a bond and a promise to their fellow officers. Sometimes that's bigger than the color of their skin. People are sometimes get mad with power, and or people feel like they have to um, regain their loyalty or keep their loyalty to their whatever their group or niche is, and sometimes that overcomes anything else. Like literally, a lot of like people who are supposed to be part of the hierarchy, or like the people that are supposed to value human life, have been put in these places where they turn into like these cults or like these rival gangs, and they do things that are the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. You know, like literally who gets killed over speeding or being accused of speeding, or like reckless driving, So
right. I
it's
mean,
just like,
it's just it's hard to put in the words of how I'm really feeling right now because you would think each time there's like with George Floyd, that was like a major victory, right? Like justice was served. And you would think like that would be the point where, okay, police officers would get it together or like there'd be some fundamental change with training, be more thoughtful of who they hire, and things like that. And then when this happened and when this story broke, it's just like, wow, it's not quite backwards, it's just kind of like we're just stagnant. Like I don't know what else it would take to not just it's not enough just to punish. The key thing is to try to prevent these things from happening. And it's like I'm really looking at it like at this time, like I don't know what it would take to really, save someone's life from this situation. So,
you know, it's very disheartening.
but like I said, I will keep monitor the story for updates and hopefully we'll get a conviction. They are charged with second degree murder, 2 counts of official misconduct, 2 counts of sorry, excuse me, aggravated kidnapping, 1 count of official oppression. That's actually a law. Okay. 1 count of aggravated assault. So, yeah, hopefully we get a conviction and they serve life. That's what I'm hoping for. All right. Now, speaking in terms of our mental health, as you know, everyone at some point we experience like our own trauma, secondary trauma from watching events like this with police brutality and other public tragedies. And what I've kind of noticed from the people in my life and some of the people that I work with, there's been this repeated story of like, I can't get access to my psychiatric, no, I'm mispronouncing that. They can't get access to the medication that they need to treat their mental illness. And I first heard it with one of my students who I've really worked closely with and have been pushing them to go see a therapist. This person's been dealing with so much in their personal life, like really like just struggle emotionally with like a lot. And thank God for our counselors and our social worker at my school for really helping this student. And when we finally got them the services they needed, I always do a follow up and it's like, did you ever get your medication? And it was like they received no call from the pharmacy. And like we got them service, like got them seeing like earlier in the school year, I think before we went on winter break. And even now in January, they still have not received their medication. And I'm just like, and it's not like little tantrums or like minor mood swings. Like this student has like severe emotional issues. I have, in my 8 years of teaching, I have never seen like someone fall into such a deep depression that not only waterfalls of tears, but like gotten to the point where they become mute, like they can't even really talk for real when they are in this state. And it's truly frightened me. I'm just like, this is like the most severe cases of depression that I have ever seen. It could be partly because of the like how the kids handle or what they went through the pandemic, but it's next level. And you mean to tell me that they can get access to medication that could actually help with their depression and mood swings? I'm like, and then I'm hearing from, my intern, they haven't gotten their medication for 2 months. And so I'm looking at this as like, what is happening here? Like if you guys have listened to my earlier episodes um of the podcast, you know that I'm a heavy advocate for mental health, making sure that you are taken care of and that you get the necessary help you need. But it would be hard to push that if there wasn't follow through or there like I just wanted to know what was going on, because it is a huge concern. And so y'all, this is like just so disheartening because like we have 60 million people who are in need of mental health services in the US just don't have access to them at all. And that is an alarming number. 60 million? How? Why do we not have enough therapists, psychiatrists? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, that we cannot provide adequate mental health services to those in need. And then I'm digging further. I'm like, there has to be like, is there a medication shortage? The answer is yes. It's on the FDA website, and you can check it out. Manufacturing Okay, so I'm gonna just read off like a couple of reasons, like why there's a shortage. So the manufacturing quality issues are the major reason for the drug shortages. However, there have been other reasons, such as production delays at the manufacturer and delays companies have experienced receiving raw materials and components from suppliers. Like there's an issue in the supply chain, but and this is something I don't know if the Biden administration, our president, is looking into this situation or not, but like I hope that they're coming up with a contingency plan where we can they're trying to fix the supply chain so that people can get the medication that they need. There's like a shortage in like the Adderall medicine to treat like ADHD. Like it just feels like we're in a very hopeless situation. I wish like I would like be in a more positive mindset, but to watch people that are close to you, especially like your students, and you've been pushing, well, I know for myself, been pushing them to seek help so that things can get better, but then there's no significant change. There's no help to treat what's going on in their heads. This is a nightmare situation, and this is such like a huge crisis. And I need the leaders of America, from the president to our representatives in Congress and the Senate, to really stop BSing and focusing on what queer people are doing, what trans people are doing, um, what what Cardi B or what some of these female rappers are saying. Like it's all a distraction. It's just all a distraction. We are in a serious crisis. The 60 million people is an unexcusable number. We need our leaders to come together, forget whatever disagreement, philosophy that y'all can't agree on. I need y'all to work together to ensure that people of all ages who are experiencing mental health issues and that they have the facilities, the medication, and the doctors to get their lives back on track and to have some form of normalcy. Can we get that? Can we get that? That's all I'm asking. Um, I am very tired and just overall exhausted. I worked today. I didn't have classes, but I had you know, took some time to. It's just a lot going on at work, and then
Mm.
I'm truly am worried because like not just for the students that like are just around me, like from like what I'm hearing and all these other things going on in the building. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other kids that need some form of medication. Um, but I don't know what we're gonna do, Marcel. It's just this is a bit of a gloomy episode at the tail end, but I just wanted to bring it to people's attention because we get so, it's great that we can celebrate people like Angela Bassett and Doja Cat and Beyonce. But at the same time, like we can't forget like some of the growing issues that's happening in our country and that's affecting a lot of people close to us. And we need to start paying attention because we can't get caught up in the distraction over whether or not Black history is a part of American history. That's common sense, it is. And they need to get over themselves. What I want to see is a way that we can resolve this. Like, I don't know, like if we have to hire more people, if we have to ask other countries to export these medications. But let's get it done because if we ever want to make America great again, then you're actually going to have to do great things. You're going to have to help human beings. But nobody really wants to hear that. Sorry to end on such a gloomy note, but sometimes you need that cloud to hover over. You need to have the pouring rain just so that our flowers can grow. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it. Get the message out. Let's bring awareness to the issue, and maybe in a later episode that we could discuss actual solutions and incite change. You can follow me at Noir Vibes DC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and as well as YouTube. Marcel, where can the audience find you?
You can find me at Melanin Prodigy on Instagram, C Doodles also on Instagram, which is my art account. Um, and that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you again for being my guest on my show. I really appreciate it.
Of course, no, always want to come here and speak the truth to the people.
And remember, folks, you can't go wrong when you go with the flow. Tune in again next time. Tune in next time, 10 p.m. on Friday nights. And be on the lookout for the past episodes so that if you're just joining us, you can catch up. And just remember, you can't go wrong when you go with the flow. I'll catch you guys next time.
Period.
Bye.
Bye.